Zealots often speak of the end of time. They speak of a great Armageddon, as if it is the destruction of all things. They speak of total destruction and devastation, as if such must occur if there is to be a salvation of the world. Yes, zealots of religion often speak as if there will be a total devastation of all that exists, of all that's living, that all that has been created, so there may be a recreation. But how come such seems to be in every generation the clarion call? And how come in every age people say it is the end of time? Time does not have a beginning or an end. Time is always in the ever-present now. Time is infinite. So those who say it is the end of time simply do not understand the concept of time and the reality of the ever-infinite present. So what does occur, not just once, but multiple occurrences, is the end of ages. There is the coming and end of an age. But while there is war looming and pending, while there seems to be desperation through humanity, we remind you that many ages have ended. But the end of an age is always the beginning of an age. The end of a time is the beginning of another time. And those who would cry, destruction, destruction, all must be destroyed to be reborn anew, we would say to them, life is change, and ever there has been change. But do you not understand a very basic scientific principle that nothing is destroyed? Everything always exists, everything has existed and will exist. And you say, oh, what about creation? And we say, oh, that existed in an infinitesimally small point still exists when it is expanded. And when that point again collapses, that does not mean there is an absence. It does not mean there is a void. It does not mean there is a vacuum. It simply means that all of existence is in a different state. So it is imperative, while everyone is thinking of war, and while everyone is thinking of potential nuclear holocaust, and everyone is bemoaning the thought that there could be a World War III, that we tell you this is not the end of time. There has never been a prophesied end of time. There has been many prophesied end of ages, and there is the prophesied end of the age, era or epoch, and there is the beginning of a new era, a new time, a new age, a new epoch. So, when you look back and you see this past astrological age, what do you see? You see an age where there has been empires. You look on back and you see ages of kingdoms warring, and you look back further and you see tribal ages. In each age there is a consciousness and a way in which humanity interacts. And you are now entering into an Ethereal Electric Age where magnetism and electricity will rule the air. And as a result, communication changes. Communications and thoughts and the way people interact. And that will change the very makeup of how your society exists, making it both more modern and more primitive in various ways. And the age of the empire, that age that some would now seek to reclaim, is going to sleep as the age of an existence where all are part of a collective that is of a greater responsibility, surges forward. This does not mean that smaller groups of people will not interact, for there will remain families. There will remain units that some would consider more tribal, and local units, pedestrian as they may seem. They are a necessary part of reality. For a human being can only have a social circle that is so large, that is truly interacted in such a manner that it functions as a real, knowledgeable unity, whether it be family or organizational structure or other. So this means that as some develop with their thoughts being projected further because of electronics and because of magnetism and because of communication, that they still will only be able to be intimate with a small number of people. And when you expand that number of people, the intimacy becomes less and less and less. But understand this also. By expanding that number of people, even though the intimacy is less, a small bit of energy from a multitude of people is more powerful than a lot of energy from a few people. Thus, those who are actually able to pull from the energies of the multitudes will be the powerful in the new collective age, in the new epoch that moves forward. So now suddenly you're seeing shifts of kinds that were never understood before, where the real power becomes thoughts. The real power becomes the mind, the ideas, the essence of life. And that will change the balance of the whole world. And that will change the selfish little petty quibblings for kingdoms, and the selfish big large little quibblings for empires, because these are no longer relevant as boundaries and borders become less relevant with travel. But what will remain relevant is order and method and a certain lack of chaos. For if there is chaos, the kind of chaos that you have in your world today, then you cannot move forward. Mostly you need to realize that as you are moving into this new epoch, this new era, this is not the end of life as you know it, but the beginning. It is the beginning of a new, more prosperous and more beneficial life. It is the beginning of a new time when people can live together more harmoniously. Yes, it is true that there is a positive and negative, and these forces pull against each other. And in order for this positive force to be born, the great negative force shall first spread across your globe. But out of the ashes will arise the phoenix of hope. That last little creature released, crawling out from Pandora's box, that will build the new epoch, the new era, the new age. There is hope. Do not allow the zealots to persuade you that your earth, your world doesn't matter. Do not allow them to persuade you that it's okay. You can just blow it all to pieces because God is going to make you another one and all the goody-goody two-shoe people will be saved. So, what? You want to blow your world to pieces? That makes you a goody-goody two-shoe person and you deserve heaven because you believed God enough to destroy your world? Boy, that sounds pretty satanic by your definitions, doesn't it? When love is that which must ultimately prevail. No, your world will not be destroyed. There will be hard times in the near future, but oh, what will come, what can come, has been foreseen and foretold by prophets for ages and ages. It is important, though, that you understand that prophecy is not given as an absolute. Prophecy is given as a choice, and people interact with prophecy to prevent tragedy and to create the better outcome. When prophets prophesy of destruction, they do not do so to see that destruction happen. They do so to warn of impending destruction so it may be avoided. And that is wherein lies the hope for, with all of the destructions and the thoughts of Armageddon and the end of time. Remember, hidden in those are those prophecies of a new heaven and a new earth, those prophecies of a city upon a hill shining bright, prophecies of a new Jerusalem with 12 gates. Those prophecies of 1,000 years of peace, an age of peace, and people saying, a day is as a year. 1,000 years is how long and how great might an age be. Oh, 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 the good things that can be. Yet, it is so easy for so many, in so many varied faiths, to stand in their places of proclamation and give you that which is negative, that which will easily be put into your subconscious, with which they might control you. And it is so hard for so many to just listen to the good. But we tell you, when you hear the negative, take a deep breath. Feel the negative leave your being as you exhale and inhale, knowing that it is the blessings of the divine. When you hear people speak of all of the negative, close your eyes and see all of the good that exists. When you hear people speak of the petty and little things, just think of the electromagnetism filling the air and how all of the messages of hope could instantly be communicated. Your world, your planet. Oh, yes. Even if you didn't exist, it would go on existing. But do not think for a moment that it is the end of time. It is the beginning of a new epoch, a new era. It is the beginning of a new life of blessings and abundance. But you must work to make it so. We leave you with blessings and with peace. Peace, peace be with each of you.